Now, while the media mob tries to clean up its role in the Biden cover-up and the left tries to learn how to talk to men, can you imagine $20 million to learn how to talk to men? We do have some encouraging news to bring you tonight because it's only been 4 months since President Trump took office. And look at this. The economy is booming. Consumer confidence just made its largest jump in 4 years amid a trade truce with China. Gas prices hit a 4-year low last week ahead of the Memorial Day weekend. And it's time now for our Hannity Washington briefing. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt is with us. Good news on the economy, and the markets do seem to respond whenever the president gets close to or starts talking about trade deals, like, for example, with China, like with Great Britain. Now there's talk of a deal coming with the European Union.
That's right, Sean. There is good news today. Consumer confidence hit a record high, and also the highly respected pollster Matt Rasmussen showed that the majority of Americans view our country as heading on the right track under President Trump. This is a stark contrast to what that same polling showed under the previous disastrous administration led by Joe Biden. As for the trade talks, since you mentioned them, I was just going back and forth with our United States Trade Representative Jameson Greer, who informed me that the Trump administration continues to be in intensive talks with India, and the president, of course, has applied very public pressure to the European Union so that they, too, can have a miraculous trade deal just like we cut with Britain and our friends in the United Kingdom. So we continue to move forward in cutting good deals that put the American people and the American worker first.
Well, that Rasmussen poll you referred to, the percentage of Americans who say the country's on the right track, is the highest number that they have surveyed in their 29-year polling history, which I found significant. Let me ask you about the Trump FBI reopening investigations into the Supreme Court abortion decision leak, the Biden White House cocaine scandal that lasted a whopping, 10 days, and the January 6th pipe bomber mystery. It seems like the administration is going back and getting to the bottom of some unfinished business.
Yes, all of those announcements coming from the FBI, Kash Patel, and, of course, our great Attorney General Pam Bondi, who is committed to the truth, Sean, just like President Trump and his entire administration, and committed to an unprecedented level of access and transparency that is led by President Trump at the White House every day. He takes questions from the press. He talks directly and honestly and candidly about the problems and the challenges he is solving, not just here at home, but also abroad. And he's demanding answers. And one of the things he is going to continue to push for answers on is who the heck was running the country over the past 4 years. And you just talked about it in your monologue, and I'm glad to hear it, because this is truly the greatest political scandal our country has ever seen. We had unelected, radical left White House staffers who nobody knew their names running the most powerful country in the history of the world. And the Democrat Party was in a complete alliance to cover it up. And the mainstream media was right along with them. They were asking Joe Biden what his favorite ice cream was, rather than asking him whether or not he was suited to run the country. And so we need answers on what took place over the past 4 years, because look at the consequences of having these unelected radical left-wing staffers in the West Wing running the country. We had a wide-open border invasion that this administration is cleaning up every day despite challenges from the courts. We had an economy that was left in the dust, but again, thanks to President Trump's pro-growth policies. And now we have the one big beautiful bill on its way to his desk. It's in the Senate now, being marked up and amended so it can go back to the House and then to the president ultimately for signature this summer. So we have a lot of good news thanks to President Trump and his policies, but we need answers, and the American people demanded them with the overwhelming victory that they gave to President Trump on November 5th in the total and complete rejection of the Democrat Party and Joe Biden.
So Harvard, for example, has a $53 billion endowment. We'll go through some of the finances later in the show tonight. $53 billion is a lot of money. And they also have institutionalized discrimination and anti-Semitism, and they've not taken a stand against it. Yet they take a stand against everything else and embrace DEI. My question is, why would they get one American taxpayer dollar, knowing that this is the case and also the case at a lot of other Ivy League institutions?
Well, that's a very good question, Sean, rooted in common sense. And I watched The left-wing cable media, CNN, on my television in the White House all day today, and they were up in arms over the president's common sense policy when it comes to federal funding for Harvard. And not a single one of those left-wing reporters can answer the question of why an institution that is pushing anti-American values with a $53 billion endowment should receive a single penny of taxpayer funds. And the president is more interested in giving that taxpayer money to trade schools, in programs, in state schools, where they are promoting American values, but most importantly, educating the next generation based on skills that we need in our economy and our society. Apprenticeships, electricians, plumbers. We need more of those in our country and less LGBTQ graduate majors from Harvard University. And that's what this administration's position is. And we also are not going to tolerate the illegal, criminal, anti-Semitic behavior that we saw take place at Harvard and many other college campuses across the country.
In light of the new information that has become available through this book that has come out about Joe Biden's cognitive decline and the reason that certain people around Biden covered it up and the media covered it up, should there be an investigation into who knew what and when and who was really in control?
I believe the president certainly thinks there should be. And I know James Comer, our friend on Capitol Hill, is interested in bringing some people to the Hill to testify about what they knew and when. Because, again, this is not just noise. This isn't just about a book. This isn't about just who knew what and when. This is about who knew about the policies that were being implemented that had grave consequences and a grave impact on our nation's national security and our homeland security. Policies that took the lives of innocent Americans across the country, like the open border policies that led to an illegal immigrant invasion. People need to be held accountable. And who knew what and when are certainly questions that need to be answered.
All right. There is the Sean Hannity Show, White House briefing. Caroline Levitt, thank you for being with us, White House Press Secretary.